Excuse the mess on my bed, but why are you angry? What are you angry at? It's irrational. Those are all things that have been said to me in recent memory, in recent times, because of a situation that happened recently. Why am I angry? I had a good talk with a friend of mine recently, a very close friend of mine. It kind of helped me think about it alongside, having a bit of a little bit of a spiral where I just kind of hit one of those points, where it's kind of rough getting out of bed and all that. Why am I angry? I thought about it. And tonight, I think I came to that realization that I was angry at myself the most. And I knew I was angry at myself. And that was part of why I was so mad. That made me really mad. But I'm angry at myself the most out of everything. Out of everything that's happened to me is I'm angry at myself. Self-anger is still anger. Self-hatred is still hatred. No one wants to be angry. I don't want to be an angry man. But I'm here mad at myself. You see how that's contradictory? I claim I don't want to be an angry man, but I'm mad at myself. Above all else, I'm mad at myself. It doesn't work like that. You can't want to be a calm, non-angry person and then be mad at yourself. I don't want to be an angry person, and that's been a big thing for me in the stage of life I'm at, figuring everything out a little more recently, in like a healing kind of aspect too. I don't want to be angry. I never want to be angry. But I'm angry at myself. And that's the tricky part, is that you are probably the person you will struggle to not be angry at the most. Out of everyone. Out of everything. Letting go of the anger you have towards yourself is the hardest. And I don't know how long it'll take me to do that. I don't know how long it'll take you to do that. But I implore you to try. To not be angry at yourself for a way you might have handled a situation, for a way you might have reacted to a situation. Whatever you're angry at yourself at, just try and forgive yourself for it. And that's hard. That might be one of the hardest things you ever do, is learning how to not be angry at yourself. And it's going to take me a while now that I've finally figured it out. That's been one of the big things that's truly, it has been holding me back, is I've been angry at myself. How can I claim to be someone who is not an angry man if I'm mad at myself? It's a hypocritical statement. It can't exist. It's not true. It's like an oxymoron, Like it you can say it all you want, but it's something that can't. You can't be someone who claims to not be an angry person if you're mad at yourself the most. And perhaps that is my greatest shortcoming, one of my greater shortcomings. I am the hardest on myself. But with that conversation I had tonight, I think I'm kind of figuring it out a little bit, but I would not be who I am, morally aligned with my values, if that wasn't the way I responded to those situations. And that is also something very hard to come to terms with, because if you had seen how I responded to some of those situations, you'd call me a fool. And I would still call myself a fool for it, but I can't be angry at myself for it, because I responded the way I did, because that's how I was made. I was made to, see this perspective of others. I was made to empathize and try and understand and give as much grace as I can. And it is my own shortcoming that led me to some of those things. Did I deserve them? Absolutely not. I don't think I deserved any of that. But had I not responded to some of those situations the way I did, I would not have been in line with the way I wanted to live my life. And I think that is what also made me so angry, is I wanted someone to see that. Did it happen? No. And that's okay. I've already made my peace with the whole, whatever went down. I have forgiven that person for what they did to me, for what has happened, for what they did that led up to the peak of why I was angry, to why I was mad at myself. So why haven't I forgiven myself? That's tough. That's tough to even come on here and say out loud. I had barely just admitted it maybe 4 hours ago to myself and to my friend. But I think this is a lesson that a lot of people can't learn, don't learn, struggle to learn. You can't not be an angry person if you're mad at yourself. Try to forgive yourself. Big step in moving forward, and I think, the circumstance that I was put in was necessary for me to understand it. And that's God's timing for me. I've always believed nothing happens for no reason. Even when I had been struggling with faith, even when I turned away from it, even when I was raised in it, nothing happens without a reason. And what happened needed to happen so I could understand that I'm angry at myself. That I loathe myself for reacting the way I did. But I also need to understand that it was morally aligned with what I believe in, how I want to live my life, and how I want to be perceived by other people, as well as staying true to myself. And I can't be angry at that. And that's not to come on here and say, I've already forgiven myself and learned how to not be angry at myself. That's not true. That would be a lie. That's going to take me time, a lot of time, to fully not be mad at myself. But I don't want to be an angry man. I don't ever want to be that. Anger is a disgusting feeling. It boils up inside of you, and you say things you don't mean. You do things you don't mean. You become someone you're not. I don't want to be that. So I implore you, if you are watching this, to try to forgive yourself. Try to understand why you responded the way you did in those situations. Maybe don't let it happen again, but continue living your life the way you were aligned with it. Always stay true to your values. Because if you don't, you're going to feel a whole lot worse. After getting angry at myself, and after that whole thing happened last week, I felt terrible. My mind was reeling. Didn't get out of bed at a time I was meant to. Wasn't eating how I kind of wanted to. And it threw my mind even more out of control. It's what happens when you don't live the way you want to live. When you don't align yourself with what you want. Like if you're not taking the actions to do what you say you want or feel you want, that's a whole other story. But I'm coming here to say, stop being angry at yourself. Why are you angry at yourself? Who does it benefit for you to be mad at yourself? It doesn't benefit your healing. It doesn't benefit the past. It definitely doesn't benefit the future. So do your best to understand it, to learn from it, and then heal from it. Don't let the scars you're laced with spread to other people. Because that is what happens when you are angry at yourself. You will lash out in some shape or form. Eventually it'll catch up. Eventually it'll reach other people that you care about. And if you're anything like me, you never want that to happen. And I'm hoping you don't want that to happen, even if you're not anything like me. You know, bandage the wound before the blood spills upon the body of another. But always stay true to yourself. And again, I implore you, try to understand it, try to learn from it, and try to heal from it. Everything will be okay, irregardless of what happens. Always remember that. And I hope that you can take from my failure and learn from it and grow from it and avoid my mistakes and avoid my shortcomings. Yeah, that's all for tonight. So take care of yourselves. If you're hearing this, you are loved and you are cared for. Stay positive.